What's up guys, this is Johnny Rain with my first ever Gundam model kit review. Just an FYI to people who are watching this, any further reviews after this are going to be Universal Century only, 1 to 100 scale kits. Obviously this is one of them. In case you guys don't know for some reason, and shame on you if you're a Gundam fan, you don't know what Universal Century is. That's Mobile Suit Gundam, Zeta Gundam, ZZ Gundam, Gundam F91, Char's Counterattack, 8th Mobile Suit Team, Stardust Memory, Gundam Unicorn, Crossbone Gundam, and I'm sure I probably missed something, but that pretty much, if you get the gist, it's anything that follows the original storyline of the original Mobile Suit Gundam, and that's what will be reviewed on this channel. And today I have the Gundam GP01 full burner version from the OVA series Stardust Memory. And Stardust Memory links Mobile Suit Gundam to Zeta Gundam. This is the second version of the GP01. The original version, piloted by Ko Uraki, gets damaged in a battle with Sima Garahao. And once it gets damaged, Anaheim Electronics takes the opportunity to retrofit his Gundam with some additions that will allow him to better battle in space. And that's how you get the full burner version. And so let's start off. This first part is going to be transformation and articulation. So this is your core fighter for the Gundam GP01, and it's a pretty, if you cut off this part, it's a pretty standard core fighter, but once you go out, it's a very wide core fighter compared to anything else because of these huge thrusters you have on the sides. You have thrusters in the back, and these on the white parts are fixed. They don't move. You have thrusters here, and they do move, ball joints. Of course, you have standard Gundam blue, your white, and you have some dark gray. Inside the cockpit, you have the protagonist, Ko Uraki. You have your blasters down here, and you have some landing gear. So, it's pretty basic in its core, no pun intended, but with this little addition, it probably will look different from any other core fighter you may have. So it's pretty cool. The thing I kind of don't like about it is that this is all you get, and this is necessary to create your Gundam. If you don't have this, you can't make a Gundam. So pretty much, it's some of the kits come with two core fighters, one that goes inside the mobile suit and one that can be displayed. This is not one of those kits. The core fighter is what you get. You only get one, and it's necessary to make your mobile suit. Well, with that being said, let's go into the transformation to make it into the Gundam GP01. First thing you're going to do is, like any core fighter transformation, take off the landing gear. You're going to take your blasters, and they're on a little hinge. You're going to slide. You're going to get them up here. Put them to the back so they're out of the way. So latch back here. Take that out. Going to take your nose, bend it in. Take the cockpit down. And once you bend that white part in, this blue part will come out. This will go into the neck of the mobile suit. And you have these little hatches here that you need to push down and lift up. And it may take you a couple of pushing down and lifting up. Well, that one went well. You push it down a couple times and you lift it up. Now on mine, I've noticed that my left panel does not go as far as my right panel, and I need to maybe take this thing apart and figure out why. Alright, so once that's done, this piece comes down, your thrusters go out, and your blasters go into the straight position. And now you are ready to dock your core fighter. Now, real quick, you see you have thrusters here. You have two options when it comes to these thrusters. You have these small ones, which can be concealed, which I don't prefer that. I like the longer thrusters, and I'll show you why. You have these longer thrusters here. Now, when you get your chest of your mobile suit, you will see that you have open vents here. These thrusters I just put on will come out of these open vents. If you don't want that, you keep the shorter ones on, and you put your closed vents in, and you won't see any thrusters. But I like my thrusters, so Too bad. So if you look in the back here, you have 2 slots and the neck piece I talked about earlier. You're going to take this and you're going to get it high up and slide it in. And you'll know you've done it right because you'll see the thrusters on the other side. Alright, once you have that done, you're going to bring your legs up and you're going to bring the upper body down onto 2 pegs. Oops. Come on, pegs. Okay. Make sure that cockpit stays tucked in. It has to go directly into the center or this will not work. Alright, there you go. Alright, I swear that never happens. Oh, that's what she said. Alright, so now you have your Gundam GP01 full burner version. And I must say, once he is assembled in all in his glory, he's a pretty intimidating looking Gundam, I must say. Now, like I said, you have your thruster option here on the chest. You also have a thruster option here on the shoulder. If you lift this piece up, you'll see that you have a hinge piece that's on a track. You push that in, thrusters go in. Push it out, thrusters come out. So if you're getting him in a pose or he's flying to the side and you just want these thrusters out and these thrusters in, well, there you go. If you don't want any thrusters at all, hide them. Same thing with the chest, which I like. Gives you a little bit of choice. You can pull a full 180, which is pretty good for an older kit. Mind you, this kit is over 10 years old. He has the 1 trigger finger and 3 finger set with the thumb on a ball joint. His arm, however, only goes that far. That's it. His shoulder actually goes up that far, so it gives you clearance, but the joint on the arm does not allow him to lift his arm all the way up. For legs, if you lift up his leg skirt, which is on, or his hip skirt, whatever you want to call it, is on a ball joint, and his foot can do a 90-degree kick, can do a 90-degree bend, and he does a pretty decent mule kick. Skirts back here are on hinges. His foot is on a ball joint, which gets a pretty good range of motion. He has a split foot. Now normally this is a good thing. However, on this kit I don't think that it is, and this is why. He has big thrusters on his back. Enough said. Now what I mean by that is he will tilt to the back and he will be on his heel pretty much, and his front of his foot will not be hitting the floor. Kind of like what he's doing now. I have his rifle. See? Not hitting the floor. I think if it was a solid foot, it may be better, but he can tilt like that, and he falls over. So if, just be careful of that. He's not very stable. You have to get him in exactly the right pose there to get him really stable. Now, his back thrusters have a pretty good range of motion. They go all the way up, they go out all the way back. Of course, like I said, the thruster does not move on that. His cockpit does open up, if I can get it to, in 2 places. And maybe you can see that. Pilot is inside from the core block that we put in earlier. Oh, why is that crooked? And I think that about sums it up for articulation. Not bad for an older kid, and like I said, I'll go over my impressions of how his look is and his weapons in part 2. I will see you guys then.